Hello, my beautiful astrology friends. It's me, Stormie Grace, and here is your weekly horoscope for the week of February 15th, where this week up in the sky, we walk into one of our biggest astrological aspects that are happening. We've got the Saturn and Uranus square that is happening, and we've been waiting for this to get exact and have the moment and the event, and we will talk about what that means, what it looks like, how to use it, how not to use it. But we also this week have some really lovely energy. As we're coming into the week, we see the Pisces moon being very friendly. Then the sun will move into Pisces. And as we close out this week, we see Mercury coming out of retrograde. And even though he's not fully up to speed, he'll be right back to his normal speed. He'll catch up when we get into March. But even having Mercury come out of retrograde tends to be very helpful for some clarity and moving some things forward. So we've got some tough energy that will definitely, I think, shake us globally in every way, but also we've got some other energies that are softening the landing for our bottoms, I think, this week as well. So we'll talk about all of that in just a minute. The eat and greets are continuing on. We are working behind the scenes right now to get everything set for the Kickstarter classes, which will begin the YouTube Academy starting in March at the equinox. So I will be bringing you more information, and you can always check out the details of what's going on my website at stormiegrace.com, and you can also sign up for more information about the Kickstarter just at the Kickstarter newsletter that I'll put in the description box down below, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, let's get in here and talk about what's going on this week. Now, as we're coming into the week, we've got a couple holidays here in the United States, including Mardi Gras. Laissez le bon temps rouler, right? So I don't really know how much we're going to be letting it roll because I'm not sure what's going to be happening for Mardi Gras, but you can just know as we get to February 16th, which happened to be one of my grandmother who passed on. It was one of her favorite holidays, and our people are from New Orleans, so this is like a big day in our little world. So if it's something that you celebrate, even if it's got to be incredibly different, have a beautiful Mardi Gras, okay? But now when we edge over and we get into the 17th, we're going to see this Saturn-Uranus square finally coming together in Aquarius and Taurus at 7 degrees. Now remember, like I said at the beginning of the week on Monday, we have this energy of this Pisces moon coming in, connecting really nicely with all of these planets that are in Aquarius. So it's kind of an easier emotional place to get into position as this square comes exact. Now, as this square hits, as these two come into their square with one another and they lock horns, and I do mean lock horns, because Aquarius and Taurus are both fixed energies. So this is the locking of the horns in this square. Now, it can bring on change that you feel like you don't want to happen, or you feel like you don't want it to be this way. And what I can tell you is that this is really not an energy with both Saturn and Uranus, who are, they're big energies. They're electric energies. They are steadfast energies. What you don't want to do with this is resist change. Pushing back against this square can actually be so much worse than going with and seeing the changes that are trying to be revealed. Now, of course, globally, this is a square that challenges history. It challenges these things that we've had over here for a very long time versus the things we're trying to break down and allow them to be new, because the square will demand action from us. So we will take actions on this day, but it is it's an energy of creating a change, creating a breakthrough that is very big in long-standing traditions or long-standing patterns. So one of the things I would ask you to do and look at under this energy in your specific life is, where is this energy showing you? And it is usually clear what is going wrong, what is not working out under this energy. So what old habits, what old beliefs do you have? What old things in your life that have been very fixed, right? Very grounded into your life for some time? Which two areas in your chart at 7 degrees of Aquarius and Taurus, what is coming to a head? What is hitting here? And it is literally showing you these are outdated. Your tradition of this thing is outdated and doesn't last, won't last, and can't work anymore. So we'll be under an absolute demand to look at it. Now, I also think that this energy is a little bit tough for actually creating change that you want to be happening. I'm not saying that after the revelation of whatever's not working comes to a head, because these are big energies, that you can't go forward and create things, but this is more of a day, and this is a few days after it, really up to a week, I think, that's more about seeing what change is being brought in instead of going out and hustling and making these changes. Now, it is Saturn and it is Uranus, and this can be impulsive. We can be uncomfortable under this energy. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what changes in front of me. You know, these are our social and outer planet, respectively. So we could see this happening in our world. We don't like this. So we're going to impulse. We're going to aggress. We're going to push forward. I don't want to change. Fixed energy. So we can watch for that globally, but we'll also want to watch for that personally. Now, as this is the first time that this square is hitting, this is the first hit for them, take stock of what's not working or where you're trying to break through in something that was old. We will see this again in June and in December. Now, those two other times will be your keys to see if you're making progress on what you're learning and what you're seeing right here, okay? Now, there will be some intensity that comes with this as well, because the moon is going to be over and be in conjunction at this particular point with Uranian energy. So this is an emotional time. It could be you have all of the feels. Uranus is electric. The moon is watery. It is electricity and water meeting. So it can be a day. It can be a few days of high feels, high intensity, high reflection. So if that is something that is happening for you, you know, step back. This is a wonderful time. This is a wonderful energy to realize that just because you're being invited to a conflict, just because you're being invited to something, doesn't mean that you have to go. You can stop. You can watch. You can look at what's going on. You can use your introspection. You can use your observation of what's got you ticking so hard to see what else you can do with this energy. Now, just a day later on the 18th, we're going to see the sun move into the energy of Pisces. And I actually think this is a helper to some of that energy, because as the sun moves over into Pisces, it brings light, heat, life, and motivation. And in the energy of Pisces, what we are wanting to do is assimilate everything that we have learned. We are wanting to pull it all together. Pisces is the sacred wound. What have we learned in this last astrological year? What did you learn? What did you see? What did this Saturn-Uranus square show you? What is it showing you, right? So we have the assimilation here. Now, another great use of this energy, instead of being impulsive this week, is take it to that Piscean place. Be creative. Create something with it. Use this energy. Do something with your hands. You know, get yourself moving. Where do you need to write? Where do you need to journal? Where do you need to relax and rest and give yourself permission to put down something? Have you been so busy socially that maybe your home and family relationships have suffered in some way? Your relationship with you has suffered. Take it to that very Sun and Pisces place and let yourself create. Let yourself assimilate everything that you've learned, because it's going to be time in about 30 days to take that forward into Aries energy and create something new with it, but not just yet, okay? Now, as we get to Friday this week, Venus is going to come into a square with Mars. Now, Venus is over in Aquarius, Mars is in Taurus, and they're going to square up at 23 degrees. These are still the lovers. So even in square, it is very much so that lover's energy, okay? But Venus in this particular position, squaring up with Mars, this can bring some tension into relationships, because you're feeling like that Venusian energy where it's like, I want to be social, I want to be out here, I want to be very Aquarian, and Mars is in Taurus and he is equally holding his ground over here, but it's in a much more solitary kind of way. So their square can be intense. It can make you feel very sexy. It's very passionate. It is a heated kind of energy when the lovers get into a tiff, or they get into an energy where they have to decide what they're going to do next. So again, if you can use the energies productively, whatever that productive use of your energy is, remember you've just had the electricity going a couple days ago with the Saturn-Uranus. Now the sun is in Pisces, so you've got a little bit of a deep breath, but then these two come into a square. So it can be an energy where you have to think, what am I going to channel my energy into? What am I going to channel all of the feels into? Now, I can tell you too, that as the sun is in Pisces and these two are in a square, I think very seriously, as the sun lights up Piscean energy. If there have been things that we couldn't see, or we couldn't really see them for what they were, we may get some revelation of that under the sun in Pisces. And when Venus and Mars are squared, you know, if you're feeling quite passionate about it, you could absolutely be running like full guns at it. So just make sure that you are not moving just impulsively. Try and be a little bit informed with what you've got going on. And speaking of information, as we're closing out this week on the 20th, we see Mercury coming out of retrograde. So remember, when Mercury comes out of retrograde, yes, he is stationing to turn direct, which is great because our communication can get going and moving forward again. But Mercury needs a minute to get his cosmic coffee, get it together. He's not ready to start doling out the blessings just yet. Give him a little bit of time to get his station under his belt. And typically the station is what's harder for us than the actual retrograde or the forward motion. So give him a minute to get it together, and then you can start to make your plans and do your things moving forward. Now, Mercury has been retrograde since January 30th, since right at the end of January, okay? And he's going to come direct here on the 20th, but he's not going to be at his full magical force until we get into March, because we need him to finish the second half of the shadow time. So just keep that in mind, which doesn't mean stand still and just twiddle your thumbs, but it does mean be aware that Mercury's not at his fullest speed. He's going to continue to pick up speed as he moves forward into that exact degree where he went retrograde. So just want to keep that in mind at 26 degrees of Aquarius when we see this energy flipping around for us on Saturday, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, I think that it is going to be an interesting week. I think it is one that we can expect surprises. Uranus is very much so in the mix. It is stimulated. I can't wait to see what this is stimulating in your chart. So please leave that in the comment section down below. Where are you seeing that 7 degrees of Aquarius Taurus square happening across your chart? And do you have any personal planets there? Do you have an angle that's happening there? Do you have a node that's happening there? You know, what are these planets touching in your chart? Let me know down below so we can all kind of think about each other's charts and do a little bit of astro learning, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I love you a ton, and I look forward to walking the whole week with you, really the whole month if you haven't already watched your February videos, and I will, I'll be here, okay? All right, you guys, I love you. I'll see you next week. Bye.